welcome back to Hardcore Minecraft and to the depths of the Nether. I'm just wrapping up on mining ancient debris as part of the 100 likes goal from episode 3. We didn't quite reach the full goal, but I decided to match the number of ancient debris with a total of 97 likes. Let's get back to the overworld and go over the plans for this episode. As you get further and further into Minecraft, items and how to store all of them can become a huge pain in the butt. With each new update to the game and the new blocks being added to the game, my current storage is a disaster in the making. Today, I'm setting out to resolve that issue before it gets overwhelming. In the hole behind me, we're going to dig out a massive area that will be home to the ultimate storage system. I've already planned everything out in a creative test world, and I need to dig out an area that's 49 blocks wide, 64 blocks deep, and 28 blocks tall. If my math is mathing, that's over 87,000 blocks. I'm not going to get far standing around. Let's go. Fortunately, I got my hands on a few wither skeleton skulls, and I cheesed the wither to get a beacon. It will definitely help cut down on the time to dig out this hole. I'm going to need both stone and cobblestone for the redstone components, so I've also crafted a few extra pickaxes with silk touch and fortune. I've got the first half of the area dug out, and I'm just putting down a smooth stone floor as the foundation. My plan is to make a facade to hide all of the redstone components and decorate the interior to look like I've built the storage in a lush cave. I've got the dig completed now and put the floor in and spawn-proofed everything. I've also gone ahead and removed all of the other stone and ores from the walls and ceiling to keep everything clean. So I needed a lot of stone and cobblestone for the redstone components, which thankfully I have plenty of from digging out the area. What I neglected to plan for is how much redstone dust I'm going to need. I've got a bit in storage, but nowhere near the 4,000 total redstone dust I'll need. Let's hit the mines and see what we can dig up. Overall, that was a very disappointing 2 hours underground. I think I may have found more diamond ore than redstone ore. I've got the redstone stacked up, so let's see how much we came back with. While I'm breaking down all of this redstone ore, I just wanted to thank you all for your support of the series and the channel. I have all of the ore broken down now. I needed just a little over 4,000 redstone dust, which is around 64 stacks. After all of that, we have 17.5 stacks. That isn't going to be near enough. I think it's time to initiate Plan B. If we were still in 1.20, I'd just build a stacking raid farm and be done with it. Unfortunately, they no longer work and they're frowned upon in the hardcore community. So what's the next best option? A witch farm. Let's gather up the materials so we can get some redstone. There is a witch hut close to the portals for the ghast farm. Unfortunately though, it's in a horrible spot and it would take me forever to spawn proof the area. So I'm not going to use that one. Chunk base to the rescue though, because I did see that there are 2 more witch huts in the area. The first one is right by a village, but there's a lot of terrain and that one wouldn't be great. I did find another one though that looks like it's a bit more promising. I've calculated where to put the portal. Let's jump through and check it out. Looking around, I think this is going to be the best option for the witch farm. I can clear out the area around the hut quickly and start building. I'm just laying out the spawn platforms now. This purple border around the hut is the structure bounding box. If I build the platforms within this box, only witches will spawn in the farm. The cool thing is I can build 3 floors to spawn witches and increase the rates. This is going to be a looting farm, so I can get a lot more loot compared to Entity Cramp. Okay, I've got the spawn platform set up and a wall around the area to help block the light. This section here is for the clock that will open and close the gates for water to push the witches into a water column and bring them up to the killing area. I'm now working on the roof of the farm, and I'm building it out 11 blocks past the bounding box in order to increase the spawn rates. This farm is a modified version of a similar farm by Logical Geek Boy, and I'll leave a link in the description below. He explains it a lot better than I can. I've got the roof built now, and it's time to get up to the killing area. I need to get high enough to not spawn mobs underground and only spawn witches in the farm. I used MiniHUD to set up a despawn sphere that helped me find the perfect location for the killing area. If you're interested in learning about what you can do with the MiniHUD mod, drop me a comment and I'll make a quick tutorial. Where I'm at now, the only spawnable spaces are within the witch farm. Time to fly back down and build the water elevator to the kill platform, and then we can test it out. Now that we're back on the ground, it looks like we're already spawning witches. Look at their pointy little hats. This is awesome. Alright, it's time to start building the water elevator to the top. It looks like I have a few witches in the way and I need them to go bye-bye. Whoa, that really hurt. What potion is that? It took me down to 1 heart. I'm just gonna put a cap over the top of the witches for now and start building the water elevator to the top. I'll see you when I get there. I've got the elevator done now and a chute to push the witches to the killing area. The magma blocks are there just to damage them a little bit and keep them from despawning. Now all I have to do is place a water bucket that goes down the entire chute and then place kelp to make it a working bubble column. After that, I place 2 more water sources and signs to push the witches to the kill chamber. Place one last sign thanking the witches for their generous donations, and the farm is done. Now that the platform and elevator are done, we're getting witches and also redstone. Let's test it out for a bit and see what we get. 6 stacks of redstone blocks, lots of glowstone, gunpowder, and more, not to mention 40 plus levels. I'd call this a successful farm. Time to head back to base and get busy building. Alright, so I've already gone ahead and crafted all of the redstone components, and there's a lot of them. There's a total of 1,900 redstone torches, 640 chests, 180 composters, 780 hoppers, 476 repeaters, 176 comparators, 396 droppers, 324 observers, 272 powered rails, and 96 redstone lamps. And that's just for the redstone components in the storage, none of the decoration. Now that I have everything sorted for the materials, let's get started building. I've laid down a raised floor that will be the base of the storage room interior floor. The units going in now are 2 of the 4 multi-item sorters. Each unit has a total of 48 chests, times 4 equaling a total of 192 chests that I can sort multiple items into. I've now got all the inner workings built. I apologize, but I didn't include any of the footage of building the silos. It tends to get pretty repetitive. You can see just how much storage I'm going to have going forward. I shouldn't have any issues in the future for all of the blocks and items I'll be gathering. It's time to get busy building the interior. I know there are some people out there that love the look of exposed redstone, but I'm not some people. I have to cover this stuff up and make it look presentable. Time to make this storage room look like an overgrown cave. I've got dark oak columns around the area, and now I'm building up the walls. This storage room is heavily inspired by something I built a few years ago on an SMP server with some friends. Copper blocks had just come out along with the lush caves, so we tried to mimic that look. This is one of my favorite builds, so I wanted to bring the same style to this world. Here are just a few screenshots of that build for reference. The entry was decorated with these tall towers. The idea was to build braziers on the top to light up the surrounding area. I spent quite a bit of time texturing the entryway with different block variants to give the cave entrance more life. The hallway is home to a few armor stands with all of our heads. The fellow with the skull head is me. I had this skin for quite a while before changing it to the current Itachi skin. We also got our hands on some mini blocks to add more interest to the hallway. Once you're in this storage room, you're greeted with 4 beacon beams to give you all of the optimal boosts. There's a hole in the center of the floor that leads to another portal, and here's the storage room looking out. We also dug out space below and behind these columns for a super smelter, so we just load it up with items and fuel, and it outputs empty buckets and smelted items into the right barrel. Let's get back to the build. Alright, the stone facade of the cave is just about completed. Now it's time to reinforce this thing and make it look a bit sturdier. I'm now putting in some large beams and arches into the upper parts of the build to make it look like they're holding up the cave to keep it from collapsing. I've also hidden away a few blocks of glowstone to light up the ceiling and protect me from creepers spawning and blowing everything up. From this angle, you can see all of the detail that's been added to the cave ceiling. I'll be adding quite a bit more detail into the ceiling later with moss blocks, mossy cobblestone and bricks, as well as some leaves, glowberries, and more foliage. I'm just now working on the floor. I spent a lot of time in a creative world working with Axiom to create a cool block gradient and pattern in the floor. I'm so happy I updated this world to 1.21.3 so I can use the new Tough Block variants. This floor is heavily inspired by a nautical theme, and I'm building a compass in the center of it. I'm really excited to show you the final product. The area that I'm laying out now is a mix of stone, cobblestone, andesite, and stone bricks. I know it looks very random now, but the idea behind the design is that these blocks were part of the original excavation of the cave, and then the design was added later. The floor is all made up of bottom slabs, so the entire area will be spawn-proofed once it's completed. I'm now putting in the floor pattern in the rest of the storage room. This part of the floor is made up of different variants of tuff slabs, specifically tuff, tuff bricks, and polished tuff. In addition, the design for the compass and the other decorative pieces are made of deep slate tile and deep slate brick slabs. I'm just taking some of the ancient debris that I gathered, and I think in the center of the room, we're gonna need a lodestone. Let's craft one up. Future Craftmaster B here. I literally recorded this part of the video 2 days before Mojang announced a new snapshot changing the crafting recipe of a lodestone from using a netherite ingot to an iron ingot. What the hell is that about? Come on, man. I've also crafted a compass so I can make a lodestone compass and get the advancement. All right, I think I'm finally done with the decoration of the room for now. There's a lot of space to add more details, but at some point you just have to say, I'm done. I've added lots of little details like mangrove logs in the columns to add texture, extra lighting, and I've gone ahead and decorated the ceiling with some greenery. I'll probably extend that further towards the entry in the future. I really like the leaves hanging from the ceiling. The hanging roots and the addition of the glow lichen helps light the ceiling more as well. I've added some glowstone under the floor to make the lodestone stand out more. I tried placing it a block lower, but then you couldn't see it as well. Who knows, maybe I'll change it back in the future. I don't know. The major issue is that it's not lit, so mobs can spawn on just that single block. Would you look at this floor design? This is by far my favorite part of the build, and if it weren't for Axiom, I think it would have taken me forever to come up with this design. As I mentioned, I wanted to go for a nautical themed compass on the floor since the base is kind of a shipwreck theme, and I think I've accomplished that. Let's check out how this thing actually works. This area here is where you put all of your items to go into the storage. The barrel labeled items and blocks is where you drop off any items that are in your inventory. The full shulker's barrel is where you drop off any shulker boxes you want emptied, and then they come out in the empty shulker barrel. Let's test it out. I only have spruce and dark oak sorted for now. You see here we have 32 stripped dark oak. I'll drop a shulker box with 15 stripped dark oak into the barrel, and with FreeCam you can see the box is dispensed, dumps its items, and when it empties, it breaks the shulker box and puts it back into the empty shulker box barrel. And the items are going into the proper spot in the chest now. I've got these divider sections here with copper blocks and the new variants as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the bulbs or not. I don't know if they work, so we'll see. I also need to get a bee farm going because I still don't have wax and the copper is starting to change. Over here we have the mass storage silos. I've been putting all of the stone and cobble I've mined for the project into storage already. You can see I have 4 chests full of stone and 6 full of cobble. I've also got a silo dedicated to dirt, grass blocks, granite, andesite, sand, gravel, cobbled deep slate, and spruce. I think I'll likely add dark oak to this silo as well. Let's take a look behind the scenes now. I've got a button activated Jeb door here to allow me easy access to the inner workings. We've got the shulker box unloader here, and all of the items that aren't sorted through these first 2 units go into the water elevator and around the back end. If they aren't sorted into the silos, they drop into the 2 other sorters here. Anything left over will go into the overflow. This ultimate storage room is a game changer for my world. Having all these chests moving forward is going to be amazing. The only issue that I can see moving forward is mass quantities of items, but I can store those at the farms if necessary. That's a future Craftmaster B problem though, because there's no time to rest. I need to start moving items over here. I'll likely start doing that on stream in the next few weeks. For now though, I think that's going to be a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for watching and your support. If you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment of what you think we should add in the world next. This has been Craftmaster B, signing off. Bye-bye, everyone.